Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome again to Sunday Afternoon Teatime. I'm Clotho V Melodium. I am the musical Prince of Darkness of NEXAS Class Genesis. And today we have a very special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself to the chat?
Hello, everyone. I'm Gator,
Yeah, there we go.
the host of the Anime Boomers podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited to have someone who's also kind of a podcaster, because I don't know, at first I just wanted this tea time to be like a chance for my gen mates to come on and kind of like show themselves to the to my audience, but like I guess I'm kind of known as some sort of like a small podcaster now, it seems like.
It's not a bad thing to be.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to be, like it's nice to kind of reach out to the VTuber community and in people who are VTuber adjacent as well, and just get to talk to them, really.
Just see what makes everybody tick.
Exactly. Seems like as a, I guess, podcaster now, yeah, for some reason, I guess my manager wants me to finally like acknowledge this as an actual podcast instead of just as an excuse to talk to and make friends with other VTubers. But yeah, I guess this is a podcast now. But yeah, why don't you tell me and my audience a little bit more about the Anime Boomer podcast?
So it's co-hosted with my buddy Cody from Anime Outsiders. He's been a long time I guess anime critic, maybe more like any-tuber critic. So
Oh, okay.
One of the things Anime Outsiders kind of did was they talked a lot about issues in the anime community, people being weird at conventions and stuff like that, and just kind of like it was kind of like going away from the mainstream. It's just this is what everybody's talking about. This is what we're going to talk about.
Okay, that
And
sounds
so he brings
fun,
kind
actually.
of an interesting sort of different perspective to the podcast. And of course, Spooky, who's my other co-host, she's been kind of in IRL land, so she hasn't been on the podcast in a while. I think her she was like, I'm gonna go touch grass for a while, be back later.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's fair enough. Actually, I guess for me, I touched grass after like such a long time of just being so busy with streams, and it was like an almost zen-like experience, Hold on, let me just reduce the background music, because apparently it's a little loud for chat. There we go. But yeah, so it was almost like a zen-like experience, almost, like I walked around in the beach and I'm like, man, this feels good. I should do this a little more often.
Yeah, that's how it was starting to go to conventions again, because before I went to like Anime Matsuri like 2 years ago or so, I hadn't been to a convention in like 10 years. And like walking there and like getting to meet people, I was like, oh my god, I had forgotten how fun this was. Touching grass is actually kind of productive.
But yeah, a lot of it kind of gets I guess buried in all of the work that we need to do in order to in order to start growing, in order to start making content for people. And that's actually a good question, like how have you been dealing with kind of like the busy life, like balancing that with like maintaining a healthy lifestyle, I guess?
Very poorly. Very poorly. A lot of my days are really spent like doing work stuff. I tend to work pretty long hours, and so by the time I get home, I'm usually pretty tired, and I'm just like, I'm gonna eat like a little tiny thing, and then I'm gonna go to bed. And then I wake up and go back to work, and it's most of my time's actually unfortunately spent on Twitter, but I have to stream because I don't want to be one of those people that all they do is I'm a VTuber, but all I do is tweet.
Oh,
I don't want to be. I don't want to be one of those people.
Tweeters,
the V tweeters.
Yeah,
yes, I don't want to be one of those. So I do stream. I try to as much as I can.
Yeah, that's true. That is kind of like I guess one of my fears is just balancing, how much time do I want to spend on streaming? How much time do I want to spend on making actual content, and how much time do I have left to kind of like have my own personal well-being kind of time? But then again, we had a conversation earlier about how we also both work basically full-time outside of our content creation, huh?
It can be a little bit of a challenge to have that work-life stream balance. I feel like it's that what's the comic where he's like I forget the creator that made the comic, but it's like he's got this wall, and it's got like all these different things in it, and he's like holding like video games or something, like, huh, I don't know if I can make this fit. And he looks at Sleep and he's like, or can I?
Oh my god. Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. I think I saw something similar where it was like a mangaka who was talking about kind of like how much time they actually, spend on things. And it's pretty crazy because it's like, it was this whole pie chart of like, okay, this is Sleep, bodily functions even, has its own dedicated
oh, I found it.
Chart. Yeah?
Here it is. I sent it to you. Yeah, this is the one.
Oh my god. Yeah, hold on. Let me just save this so that I can show it to the stream as soon as I can. But yeah. One thing that I wanted to ask actually is how did you get into podcasting? Like, what inspired you to start the Anime Boomers podcast?
Well, I was actually a part of another podcast because I've been doing this for a really long time, actually.
Oh.
But Anime Boomer specifically, it was actually Spooky that approached me because I was in a podcast. I wasn't really happy with it. It was more like I had a vision for how I thought it should be, and the host of it had a completely different vision, more self flatulating kind of vision for how the podcast could go. So I was kind of, I had one foot out the door already, and Spooky approached me. It's just like, you really like anime, you like talking about anime and video games and like weeaboo culture and Japan and all that stuff. It's like, why don't you just start like a splinter show where you can talk about all the things you don't talk about on this other podcast? And I was like, you know what? I actually really like that idea.
Yeah.
So I sat down and we kind of like planned it out and just kind of came up with like the designs and stuff, like how we wanted the set to look, and came up with all these different ideas, and we launched it. And I think the first episode, I think it was just me and Spooky and Cody actually on like that first episode. But then after that, I've actually been kind of surprised some of the guests I've been able to get on the show, because it's kind of like my style is I like to pull people from all of these different like niches together. So it may be like a big creator that's like, like Legal Mindset. I've had him on my show before.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So like from the legal aspect of things, and then I may like bring on like an animator or somebody that will like draw something like a Yellow Flash or somebody from like the comic sphere. And it's kind of cool that I can like pull from like all these different industries, all these different like genres, and like bring people together that you really wouldn't like expect to talk to each other.
Yeah,
like, that's kind of that was kind of my vision for like the old podcast that I was on, was like, yeah, it could be a nexus where pun not intended.
Pun not intended, for sure. I was about to say the same thing too.
Yeah, pun not intended. It could be like a nexus where all these people from like all these different like internet subcultures can like and genres and fandoms could like come together and just like talk about what they love. And that was one thing I really wanted to focus on too, is like to talk more about like the stuff that you love and less about like the stuff that you don't like. I mean, of course we're going to cover stuff that we don't like, for sure, or drama stuff, but like really try to hammer on like, why did you fall in love with anime? What animes, like when you're thinking about like what you love about anime, like what anime come off the top of your head? And for me, it's like obvious. Like the first one I'm going to mention is Steins Gate. I love Steins Gate so much.
It's so good. Yeah, one of my favorites for sure. Yeah. But yeah, yeah, you were saying?
But I was gonna say, like that was the anime that made me fall in love with anime again.
Okay. Oh, that's cool then. That's cool. So you kind of got like I guess a resurgence in your love for anime once you started watching Steins Gate.
Yeah, it just kind of, because a friend of mine recommended it. He was just like, this seems like it's like right up your alley. You love kind of like nerd culture, weeaboo stuff, and this was like your thing. It's like, yeah, it's only there's only a couple episodes have aired, so go here and watch it. And I did, and I was like, oh my god, I was totally enraptured by it. And then of course I found out later, it's like, yeah, it comes from this visual novel, and I'm like, oh yeah, I love visual novels.
Oh, same
I like
here.
Higurashi.
Oh man, yeah, I love that whole series. Higurashi, Umineko. Oh man, I've been through that entire rabbit hole, and wow, was it an experience.
It changes you as a person.
Pretty
Like,
much, yeah.
you start to like you go into it. It's just like, oh, this is gonna be a a nice, fun little visual novel, and it's like, oh,
It's like, oh my god, oh.
and it's like you walk into it, and you're just like, typical high school like shonen
Yeah.
protagonist, and then you come out and you're Detective Conan.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, what were the signs? What led to this? How did we get to this point? Man. Oh, also, we do have a question from chat. How do you feel about the sub or dub for Steins Gate?
I will say this: the sub is better, but they didn't do a bad job with the dub.
Okay. There you go, Volt. But I'm actually curious about your whole perspective on that. Like, how do you feel about the whole like sub and dub situation? Like, what's your opinion on it?
I think it really depends. Like, it really depends on the anime, because back in the day, Funimation used to be known for like actually like they really respected the work, and they put a lot of effort into the localization so that like it flowed naturally, and it seemed right. I think this is a problem nowadays, that a lot of these companies they don't respect the original vision of the work, and so they they want to be writers rather than just simply localizers and translators. I hate that localizations become a dirty word, because it used to be a good thing way back in the day, where you take something, you keep the original meaning, but you expand on it and you make it flow better in the context of what they're saying. And now they're trying to inject all of this stuff that has nothing to do with the plot. Yeah. It's really like they're trying to be writers. They're trying to inject their perspective, their vision, their narrative into the story. And it has no place in there. It's taking away from the author's original vision. And that's not what localization should do. Yeah, localization should be like the cherry on top of the sundae, where it's like we've taken something that was already good and we made it just a little better. And now it's a dirty word because people have abused it so badly.
Yeah, and I don't know if you'll agree with this opinion, but somehow I would like to compare it as if you took the old 4Kids dub, the 4Kids dubs, like how they used to localize stuff, but like without any of the janky charm that it had.
Right. Exactly. Because like we can look back on the 4Kids dub and look at just like this silly moments, like, oh boy, I can't wait to eat all these jelly donuts, and it's onigiri,
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny juxtaposed with like what we know today, but it had the 4Kids dubs had their own kind of like goofy charm because they were kind of bad. And you kind of look back fondly, like a B movie. You kind of look back fondly on. It's like, okay, it was bad, but you know what?
Yeah, it was kind of an endearing. It was charming in its own way. Like, yeah, it was bad, but man, it was kind of funny to watch. Actually,
it had its own charm.
Yeah. So I actually have an opinion on this, right? So Ben said that the sub versus dub thing has changed now. People have multiple monitors and people listen to content as a background. A dub doesn't require you to look away from what you're primarily focused on. But I do have an opinion on that, though. It's like, I feel like you're taking away from, I guess, the point of watching a work of art that someone makes if you just kind of like have it on as the background,
Yeah, and I have a rule of thumb when it comes to watching anime. If I ever feel like I just want to like flip over to the dub and have it in another screen while I'm doing something else, then I'm probably not really interested in that anime, and it's okay to drop it.
Yeah.
And a lot of AniTubers fall into this trap where they feel like they have to watch every single seasonal anime to feel like they have an informed opinion. And I don't think that's healthy, and I don't think that's good. And a lot of them, like, especially I hear them with like some of the worst takes imaginable. And it's like, well, did you really sit down and actually watch it? Or did you just like, have it on in the background?
Yeah.
And just like not really pay attention to it just so you could say, well, yeah, I did watch it. I'm like, well, yeah, but did you pay attention to it?
Yeah, and it just leads to burnout,
Yeah, and that's why you see a lot of these anime YouTubers that have been around for a long time. They're just like they're kind of tired of it, and you can see them like branching out into other things. And it's because like if you really don't enjoy a medium anymore, but you've made your entire career off of this one medium, and you don't really enjoy it anymore, like you kind of feel trapped.
And you know what? Okay, so since you have a you have a design that's JoJo inspired, I feel like I don't know, you might have run into this, but I'm not gonna name any names or anything, but there was this one video I saw that had like basically the worst like JoJo take ever. Where it's like the big...
Are you talking about the watching order? The watching order?
No, not
take?
the watching order one, but it was someone who went through apparently all of the JoJo's manga, basically binged all of the JoJo's manga, and said that I basically got tired once I got to Golden Wind because because I read so much. And I'm like, you basically binged like years worth of content in a few months. Like, of course you're gonna get burnt out, you know? So
more than years worth of content. You're talking about decades worth of content.
Yeah, JoJo's has been running for a long time, and it's not something that's kind of meant to be. Okay, so I actually want to know.
You're talking about an anime that like debuted, I want to say in like 87, 88, something like that. I mean, you're talking about like JoJo's been around as long as I've been alive.
And if you talk about the manga, it's been there since like our grandparents have been alive, you know? It's crazy.
It is crazy.
And that's
actually, I was right. 87. Actually, it's older than me.
But yeah, that's also kind of my opinion on, you know how for Stone Ocean, they did this whole thing where they released it in like cours pretty much instead of having our old JoJo Sundays kind of thing. Yeah,
that, and it killed all of the hype for Stone Ocean too.
Yeah, I feel like it was
like
to the detriment.
I was super excited. It really was, because anime fans are used to, we wait for the new episode every week and we like watch it, and then it gives us another week to like talk about it and like really like ruminate on it and what we thought about it. Yeah. But by doing the Netflix binge watch thing and releasing all of them, like it took all of that away.
Yeah, because it's supposed to have that anticipation, you know? Like you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? And then there's a period where you can kind of like reflect on each episode and go, okay, so where are they taking this, you know? Like, that's if you haven't read the manga, but where are they taking this, you know? What can happen in the next episode? And then people can start like, I guess having some theories about it. There's discussion, there's hype. But then if you just binge everything, it just kind of ends. It can end within one day.
Yeah, and I've seen this especially with the Marvel shows, right? Like they experimented with that on Disney Plus, and it was a disaster. The weekly episodic format is the best in terms of getting people to want to watch the next episode. There's some psychological component to it too, where it's like you don't like things to be unresolved. It's like the human brain wants to square the circle. It wants to put a nice little bow on top of it, the cherry on the ice cream.
Yeah, and that's why cliffhangers are like, man, please release another one kind of thing, you know?
Right. And so if you just release all of them all at once, there's none of that rising tension. It's just it's like a calm ocean from one end to the other, and maybe a little bumps along the way, but every cliffhanger episode, you just immediately get the resolution like right after, and it's like it takes away from the suspense.
See, Ben, it makes sense because like all of this frustrating stuff that's happening to our beloved media nowadays makes Gator bang his head into the table every time he speaks.
Smash my head into the table.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like, I guess, I don't know, I would sound like some kind of boomer saying this, but it's really frustrating to see, especially this one video where the guy was like, oh, I found this plugin that allows you to play play your anime episodes at 300% speeds. And when something catches your eye, you just slow it back down to the regular speed. And I'm like, no, that completely kills the pacing and the vibe and just everything that the author has worked so hard for, you know?
Yeah, it totally defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Like imagine watching like for example, like some kind of slow burn horror. Like have you seen Perfect Blue?
I have, actually.
Yeah. So imagine watching Perfect Blue at 300% speed until something goes, "Oh my god, something happened." And then you slow it down. Like that's not even the same movie anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Not even close. You miss all the context, all of the foreshadowing.
All of the tension too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or hell, like, okay, so I guess I kind of got into an argument about this with a friend of mine. He gave the example of that one, you know, that one scene in Evangelion where they're just kind of like in an elevator and it just kind of like stays there for a bit.
Yeah.
He's like, well,
I love the Carl edit of that.
Scenes like those, I would want to speed through that, and I'm like, dude, do you feel how awkward and tense watching that scene was, where it's just like the two of them standing in an elevator, just not talking to each other and just waiting? You know?
Yeah, it's all about the effect.
Yeah, it's purposeful.
It's supposed to feel awkward. It gives you the opportunity to kind of feel just as awkward as the characters do, because you're watching this really long scene and you're like, is it over yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what the characters are feeling at that time. Congratulations, the author managed to, you know, get the point across.
Yeah, they conveyed the message they wanted.
Exactly.
I love the Carl version where they put Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force in there. He's like, none of these mates. It was so perfect.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. I get okay, so I get speedrunning content, guilty of it myself, but you're correct on how it ruins the pacing. Yeah, especially for horror,
especially with like
stuff.
especially with a Satoshi Kon piece, like he puts so much like subtle stuff in there that like and like all of his works are all about like the building tension. And so if you just kind of like speed through it, you miss a lot of what makes it good. And I see a lot of people that do that. They come through and they're like, well, I didn't get it, or it was great, but it was okay.
Yeah, and for those people who say that, oh man, so Satoshi Kon is a genius, he's an outlier. Like, let's take something a bit more relatively recent, right? And maybe still old, but relatively recent. Have you heard of this anime called Gakogurashi?
Gakogurashi? I haven't actually.
Yeah, the English translation is like a School Live or something. And it's like what happens here is that it kind of shows itself as this really cute, like disgustingly adorable kind of like slice of life school anime about these girls that live in this school club. But in episode 1, there's a big twist at the end that apparently it's like just this girl's delusion and they're actually in a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, see, I love stuff. I mean, like I said, I love Higurashi.
Yeah.
Doki Doki Literature Club, you know, stuff like Madoka was like that.
And my point there is that twist doesn't come from out of nowhere. If you play that anime at 300% speed, you'll miss so many details that, okay, so basically it's like one of those anime where I don't mind watching the first episode with someone. I probably watched it like 15, 20 times already with other people just to show them how awesome and well made of a first episode that is, you know? And because there's a lot of small details, like for example, if you look at those students in the background, they're actually hunched down like zombies. If you look at some of the hallways, there's like barricades of like desks tied together, and you're like, if you'll miss that if you play it at 300 speed, you know?
Yeah, they put little subtle things in there just to kind of like foreshadow stuff. And I go back to what I said before, is like, if you are not interested in something and you're just like trying to speed through it just to say you've seen it, then you're not really enjoying it.
Exactly.
Why are you watching it in the first place? It just seems like you're just trying to mark it as complete in your My Anime list or something.
Yeah. It's kind of like those people who just watch like those anime summary videos, you know?
Right, and there's like, I understand everything.
Yeah,
now.
I completely understand what people like about this anime now, but they never actually get to experience it. Like, yeah, it's a time investment. The thing is, you know, it's it's kind of like that investment that makes it special, like that allows you to really enjoy the art, like really enjoy the creation that someone made.
Yeah, like I see this one. I see happen a lot on Twitter, where people will complain about all of the meeting episodes in Reincarnated as a Slime, and I'm like, yeah, but that sets important stuff that's gonna pay off in the future. I'm like, yeah, I know, like you get tired of them having a meeting every couple episodes, but it's important. It drops lore. It's building the world up for cool stuff that's gonna happen later in the season.
Yeah,
and I see people do that, and I'm like, I 100% believe that person just like put the anime on 300% speed and didn't pay attention.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Though I do feel like if there is one anime that, if you really ask me, I guess stretches out a single, I guess what you would call arc a little too long, to the point that it kind of got a little, off the top of my head. Have you seen Kaiji?
I've heard of it, but I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, so there's this one arc where he basically just plays pachinko for like 10 to 12 episodes or something like that. It was a really long, I forgot how many episodes it was, but it was really long. It was tense, yeah, but eventually it's like, dude, we get it. We get it. Just like, just get to it, you know?
We get it. You're a gambler. Pachinko is addictive.
Yeah, and it's like, unfolding this whole scheme they have of, oh my god, they tilt the pachinko machine very, very slightly. It's the whole building that tilts and all of that. But man, it was funny. It was funny at least. Yeah. Okay, so Volt actually brought up something interesting. Volt said people gotta learn to enjoy the quiet moments and stuff. And I feel like that also applies a lot to, the real world as well, Like there's a lot of things.
You gotta have peaceful moments.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that like we're so busy with like the hustle and bustle of every single day that we kind of fail to sometimes stop and appreciate what's around us,
Yeah, what is it? The famous speech at the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, that gave me
live
flashbacks.
With that. I live with that motto.
Yeah, it's a really good motto to live by too. It's an amazing kind of I guess, like, just something to keep in the back of your head. That from time to time, just stop and smell the daisies, as they would say. Clotho not
touch the grass.
Clotho not beating the platforming VTweeters. Okay.
Hey, I stream. Yeah, I am not a pre-debut VTweeter.
Exactly. I've seen Gator appear on a lot of streams as well, so yeah, I would say that Gator is officially a VTuber. Yeah.
Yes, I am beating the VTweeter allegation.
Man. But yeah, so you were talking earlier about like how you wanted your podcast initially. The big inspiration for it was people getting together with their love of anime kind of as like the central nexus for it, But
and it kind of extends towards video games and like weeaboo culture, conventions, all sorts of. It's just like it starts off with anime, but we get to kind of branch out into whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, because I feel like I'm trying to get to do that with my podcast as well, because I've also been reaching out to people who are staff in some big agencies. Like I had Merryweather's manager on, Aoife, and that was really, really good insight actually. Like it was so fascinating seeing kind of like the different perspective that staff would have.
I have a funny story about Merryweather at Offkai actually.
Yeah.
So I was walking around the dealer's room, and he just happened to like be doing his meet and greet. And I just happened to be like walking by, and he was just like, hello. And I wasn't paying attention. I was just like looking at stuff, and he's like, you there? And I just keep walking, and he's just like, you in the lab coat? And I was like, I'm wearing a lab coat. And I turned around, and he's just like, hello. And we had like a brief conversation, and at first I didn't recognize him, and I was like, I think that's. I was like, what? I recognize that guy. And and he's like, do you know who I am? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, then who am I? And I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. What if I say it's Merryweather and it's not Merryweather? I'm going to be really embarrassed. So I was like, I just kind of like BS'd a little bit. And then he started going through his entire like avatar list. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's Merryweather. It was so funny and awkward.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Okay, so I heard another funny story about him. Man, it's sounding like he's some sort of this like, I guess just cryptid that you see, because there was this one guy in another chat that I was in, and he was literally like, so I was trying to watch the Astroline concert in this convention I was in, and there was just this guy in this big furry mask sitting in front of me, and I couldn't see anything, and I'm like, oh, that's Merryweather, dude. Yeah, because you know how he has that like big round dog mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, anyways, so I've actually contacted other people as well, like for example, this one channel, Velocity. I guess I've actually made friends with the guy who runs the channel. He usually does a lot more just reactions to VTuber content, but he has been like apparently like a big part of the EU VTuber community, so it's exciting to kind of like get all these different perspectives, you know. I feel like he might actually be, once I have him on, the first I guess we would say flesh tuber to appear in my Sunday Afternoon Teatime. I still don't know how I'm gonna work that.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Because you've collabed back with Legal Mindset, right? Like he's a flesh tuber.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he is a flesh tuber, though. He is gonna start dipping his toes into the VTuber world a little bit. He's got a PNG model, but he's gonna get a live 2D model at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I saw that one time when apparently he did like he did his live 2D model reveal. Well, it's just a PNG, you know. I don't think it was actually like a live 2D thing. I think it was just a PNG.
It was like a like what I used with my Squibby, the Fuji Tech.
Yeah. So it's really interesting, you know. Like a lot more people are. I feel like VTubing is starting to slowly go mainstream.
Yeah, I think so. It's especially with Cover wanting to really push into the U.S. market and doing things like having HoloLive Night at the Dodger Stadium. I think it's a medium that's really going to. It's a medium that I think is really going to like take the U.S. by storm, and it kind of already is. I mean, the fan base is like massive now.
Oh yeah. I mean, speaking of VTubers though, like, do you remember the first time you kind of like dipped into the VTuber rabbit hole? Like, what was your recollection? I do
actually. So I knew about Kizuna Ai for a while, but I didn't really like put two and two together. I didn't think, like, I saw all the funny memes and stuff of her, but like I never really put two and two together. I think that was my first like experience, so to speak. But the first like actual like VTuber I watched was Sakura Miko.
Oh.
And I watched Sakura Miko's GTA compilation. And it was like right after it had happened. It was like everybody was talking about it, and it was really funny. It was really funny, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this!" And so, I fell down the VTuber rabbit hole, and I never left at that point.
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of the same way for me. Like it was also HoloLive, but bits of Kizuna Ai earlier on when it was. Man, it was pretty niche back then. Like back then, people were like, "Wow, this is weird." There's someone like posing as an anime girl online and like, making content as an anime girl, and it's like, and I guess that was a big appeal to me. It's kind of like, I guess you would say the anonymity that comes with it. Like you can really be anyone you want,
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about VTubing is you can come up with this entire like character and the lore and the backstory, and you get to take like the theatrical aspect and just apply it to just like live streaming.
Yeah, it's honestly so cool, and the technology keeps getting better, year after year.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna get to the point. Like I saw somebody talking about some software they were developing on Twitter that can actually like, I think it uses like the Snapchat camera or whatever to track like your full body without needing like expensive 3D equipment.
Mm. When
I was like, wow, that is crazy.
yeah. And it's like it's kind of crazy like how even on the phone, you know, like back then it was unheard of to have this kind of power on your phone, you know, to just even like handle the rigging of a model. Like back then that would be something that you would expect from a PC, but now like phone technology is like face tracking, it's so complex that like it can detect subtle emotions, and I don't know, it's just kind of wild how far technology is starting to become for VTubing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the point where we get full dive technology. Like I'm waiting.
Oh my god. Yeah, so okay, so that's kind of an opinion I have as well. You know, a lot of people are like, man, I wouldn't want my brain to be linked into this like neural network that that lets you be able to control an avatar just like by thinking of it, you know, make you actually feel like you're inside that avatar. But I'm like, dude, I would 100% sign myself up for that, you know.
Dude, I wanna go around, you know, like the countryside with a giant sword. Like, who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't care if my brain can get like microwaved by like a hacker or something, you know. If a hacker gets into my full dive thing, I just get microwaved. I don't mind if I get
If you die in the game, you
like
die
that.
for real. Oh,
Yeah.
thank God.
Oh yeah, thank God. Oh my God. Oh man. Oh, I accidentally booted up Dark Souls. Shit. Oh man. Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun because, you know, apparently there is technology being worked on for that now, not only by Elon Musk apparently, but apparently Steam is also developing like brain controls or something like that. Like neural controls.
Yeah, these neural interfaces.
Yeah. Oh my God. One day we'll all just be living in a pod and all will be VTubers.
The world will become VTuber.
Yeah, the world will become VTubers. Everyone's gonna have an avatar.
You see, I want a full dive machine that I don't have to like stick anything in my brain for. That I just like put on like a headset and like lay down and just like, you know, plugged into the Matrix that way.
Yeah, where it like uses brainwaves or something. It's like dreaming, you know? Yeah.
Exactly. I prefer something like that as to like, you know, literally putting a giant chip in my brain.
Yeah. Because imagine if there was a chip in your brain, there would just be like ads popping up every once in a while in your in the corner of your eye.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, you know, it's like I'm trying to make dinner. Go away, McDonald's.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Imagine you're driving and then it's like, oh, have you heard of Raid Shadow Legends? And you're like, ah!
You just flip your car.
Yeah, your car just flips. You just hit a barrier. You careen off of the cliff.
Curse you, Raid Shadow Legends!
Damn it, Raid Shadow Legends! Yeah. Man, yeah, imagine video games like SAO. Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. Man, I feel like that would make the whole I guess not touching grass even worse, huh?
Well, see, you can touch the digital grass.
Exactly.
It feels like normal grass. It smells like normal grass.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
if you
not
eat it,
normal
it tastes
grass.
like normal grass too.
Yeah, it tastes like normal grass.
If you're into that. Man, yeah. Though, what would you do in a future like that? Would you just like basically almost spend 24/7 being in the MMO?
I mean, that would be the problem, right? It's like the human brain is designed so we can differentiate reality from fiction. And I feel like when we get to that level, like it would be really hard for people to pull away from it, because it's like you know, when you have like you're asleep and you have that really good dream, and then you wake up and you're just like trying to cling on to that dream. It's like, no, that dream was really great. I want to hold on to it.
Take me back.
Take me back. Put me back in. You know, that it would be like that. Like you'd have to like walk away from it and then like do your regular like everyday boring life, and then you just like feel unfulfilled, so you like plugged into the Matrix again. Like I feel like that would create like a whole new like subsection of depression for people. I mean, it already kind of exists in a way, where people where people like, they do stuff on the internet or they like play games with their friends online,
Mhm.
and then they have to go back from that to like, just their boring, 9 to 5 job, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, and I feel like the whole getting locked up during the really long pandemic didn't help either, because I remember back then like VR chat boomed like crazy, because
It was the only way to have like social interaction with people,
yeah,
because everything was closed and you had to have a good reason to be driving.
yeah, and then people were talking about like that whole like, oh, it's because it actually is the closest thing you'll feel to being with another person. Like people were talking about like, oh yeah, the phantom touch thing. It's like, oh man, I'm being head patted in VR chat. It feels like I'm being head patted in real life, kind of thing. I had a friend.
The anime girl's giving me head pats.
Exactly. Yeah, and I feel like that also was a big contributor to the VTuber boom as well, just because people just had so much time to watch people do silly stuff, and it's kind of like a big distraction to like just the mundanity of the whole thing.
Yeah, it actually made people like able to communicate with each other and emote and feel like it's like, oh, I'm not trapped in this little box. I can go wherever I want to.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's crazy. Yeah, I feel like once that whole full dive stuff does become realized, it's gonna lead to a whole new slew of problems.
Yeah, it's gonna solve a couple problems, and it's gonna create a whole bunch of new ones.
Yeah, because it tricks your brain too, right? And I feel like they even referenced this in SAO itself, but there were some people in that were said in SAO that, oh yeah, we use the full dive technology to eat in the video game in order to diet, because then our brain feels fulfilled and satisfied, but we actually aren't eating anything. Man, imagine the horrors that can happen, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and SAO, I have my complaints about SAO.
Yeah.
I think the overall message and like some of the themes of SAO are kind of are poignant and kind of interesting, even though the execution isn't always that great.
For sure, 100%.
I will say that it, like the very beginning of SAO is like Kino. It is beautiful cinema, and then it falls off, and then I think when it gets into the Alicization arc and the like larger implications it has on the world, then I think SAO gets really good again.
Yeah,
and that's when they really start to get into the what happens with the proliferation of this technology among people, like how would normal humans react, and that's an important point there. People like logging into the game to eat these like massive buffets so they feel full, and then logging off, but they their brain has still produced all of the feel good chemicals, so they they feel satisfied.
Yeah. It's gonna be a crazy future ahead of us. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of dreams though, I don't know if you've had this experience before. I've had the wildest dream experience so far. I think it was like a month ago or something, where it felt like I spent 2 entire years in that dream. And it felt like everyone around me was this fully realized person with their own like histories and their own like their own stories. And I even remember specifically watching a video review of an anime of a season 2 of something. I think it was someone doing a review of apparently season 2 of Darling in the Franxx. And I'm like, huh? In my dream. And I'm like, what's going on? I woke up and it was the most surreal feeling ever. I felt like I was in the wrong place, It was crazy.
Yeah, I've had crazy dreams like that too, where it's like you feel like you're actually interacting with real people that have like these backstories and like some of their history and stuff, and it's just, and you wake up and you're like, that was a dream? Really?
Exactly.
I mean, you could get into the more conspiratorial aspects of it, and maybe you were glimpsing like your alternate self in like a parallel world.
Yeah.
Before they went back in time and changed some things to take away the cornucopia out of the Fruit of the Loom logo.
Yeah, the whole Mandela effect stuff.
I mean, look, Steins Gate was trying to warn you about CERN.
That's true. Man. By the way, guys, if you haven't seen Steins Gate, watch it. It's absolute peak. Please do yourself a favor. Watch Steins Gate. Oh man. But yeah, so I've had a lot of opportunities to ask you about stuff. I think it's your opportunity now to maybe ask me about some things that you would like to know.
Yeah. One thing I'm curious about is what got you into anime? What was like what's the show off the top of your head that you can say like this was the moment you fell in love with the medium?
Oh boy. I feel like, okay, so basically anime was already kind of like a part of my childhood, like a normal piece of media, you know? Like I watched Hamtaro and like a bunch of the Super Mecha stuff back then. But what really got me really deep into anime, I would say, was this one show called I think it was REC, R-E-C, or something like that. And it's about this guy who gets dumped on his movie date, and then he meets this girl who apparently wants to become a voice actress. And because back then I was really into like performing arts and theater, you know? And then they go to the movie together, and he notices that she starts like voicing some of the people in the movie. And then I guess that's kind of like what got my, I guess, quote unquote normie self into anime, where I was like, wow, this is a really beautiful story, because like, you know, her house burns down and they live together, and then they just have it's like this lighthearted romance thing. But yeah, that's what kind of like got my foot into the door. And I guess what really got me into it though was Gurren Lagann.
Yes, I love Gurren Lagann.
Because okay, it has the emotion. It has the ridiculousness that you would only expect from anime. Like, they were throwing freaking galaxies in the end, man. Like, I feel like it's kind of like the essence of anime purified into a show. You know?
Believe in the me that believes in you,
Exactly! Simone. Exactly! Oh my god. Yeah, dude. Kamina is just... Man, I would love an older brother like Kamina, you know? I'm the eldest in my...
Kamina is the GOAT.
Yeah, he is so goated. Oh my god. But yeah, Gurren Lagann, if you guys haven't watched it, do yourself a favor. It's so good.
I see chat calling. Yeah, it says Clotho was a theater boy. Confirmed. Well,
I mean, yeah.
I got some news for you, chat. I was a theater kid in high school too. If you haven't been able to tell.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, so you've experienced kind of like the dog-eat-dog world of the theater kid space?
Oh yes, boy have I. And a lot of my friends see, I didn't go into theater in college, but a lot of my friends were theater kids, and boy, that was a very competitive, oh yeah, very charged environment.
Yeah, because at first I was only interested in singing, you know? And I was like, oh, there's auditions for a musical. I like singing, maybe I'll audition for it. My acting was really bad, so I had to get some coaching for that, but man, once I got the main role, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make friends with everyone. This is gonna be great. Anyone who wasn't part of the main cast hated me. And I was like, what? Why? Why are they so mean to me? And apparently it's because they wanted my role. And I didn't realize that it was that cutthroat, you know?
Yep, exactly. I mean, this is why, like, I'm watching Oshi no Ko. And I'm like sitting there, and it's like resonating with me. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
I feel this. I feel this. Like the, I think the, God, what episode was it where it's just like I had an out of body experience? It was season 1. I think it was episode 5.
Oh God, was that the one where like she like punched the other girl? They're like in this what was that? Like this reality show?
Yeah, it was the reality show.
Oh my god.
Episode Ego surfing.
Yeah, dude.
Like that episode, I had an out of body experience watching that episode, because it's literally like explaining like how the internet works, and you know why you should never like look up what people have to say about you online, because it's like you can't let what other people say about you like become your reality. And I was like sitting there like watching this and just like, oh my god,
yeah,
this is surreal.
Yeah, it's like I felt when I was watching that, right? I feel like I had the same reaction as you, where I was just looking at the screen and I'm just like, oh my god, like my mouth was just hanging open, like, oh my god, you know, because it's so relatable, especially for like, I guess us online content creators, you know. It's really relatable.
If there's nothing else that like a person will watch Oshinoko for, like I think they need to at least watch to that episode, because it's just such a, especially if you're a content creator, because it's just like, whoa, I feel that 100%.
Yeah, like I feel like what do you call it? People were criticizing it, saying that episode was too like dark, and I even heard someone say that it was so unrealistically dark, you know. And I'm like, dude, no, it's disturbing.
No, that was
because
100% real.
It feels so real, you know. It feels way too real, and I'm like, this arc is probably my favorite of the anime so far, just because of how disturbingly real it was. Oh my god. Yeah. It blew my mind. Just like watching that, because it was kind of like, because even the content, because Oshinoko is kind of oriented towards talking to people that are in like acting and content creation and all of those mediums. So it's kind of talking. It's not just talking to people that are like watching, but it's also talking to people that are creators specifically, and like telling you about the industry and the do's and don'ts and the pitfalls. And a lot of people, like they take it at face value, but there's a lot of deeper meanings in it that I don't think people take away as much if they don't have a history of doing content. Man, what a great arc that was. But yeah, so I was gonna tell you before we talked about Oshinoko. Did you know that I almost witnessed an attempted murder during my theater kid era?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So we were doing Jesus Christ Superstar, right? And there's this one scene at the very end where, you know, Judas gets hanged. And it was supposed to be behind curtains, it was supposed to be a silhouette, and there was this whole rig where he can kind of just like, you know, go on his tiptoes safely. And even if it kind of like is too high, there's like a lot of safeties in place. It seems like someone messed with that during the second night's performance, and our Judas had to get sent to the hospital. And
because he actually was hung from it.
Yeah, like his oxygen was actually cut off. And he's okay, you know, he's okay, but man, that must have been scary. But it seems like, I don't know, maybe the understudy was a little too happy during to take his place. Who knows? Maybe it was I'm pretty sure it was an accident, but it's some, you know, I can't help but have this.
I'm about to put my battler jacket on and just start asking questions.
Exactly. It's like, just start investigating. A small part of me just thinks that maybe there was some foul play, you know? Especially after getting immersed in the whole, like, you know, dog eat dog world of the theater kid space. Man. Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, besides all that, you know, I know you might have a bunch more questions for me.
Yeah, so we talked about anime. So let's talk about VTubing in particular. What was the moment that you could think of in your head that made you fall in love with VTubing as a medium?
Oh man. There are lots of different moments that caught. Okay, so the first one is what kind of caught me when it comes to my interests, right? I was sent because I'm a trained chef, and I also, my favorite food snack of all time is takoyaki. So my friends sent me a video of Hachima butchering takoyaki, and I was like, I hate this, but I love this. Just like because, you know, because of the presence of Luna Hachima in the background, just slowly losing her mind and going, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, I know. What is she doing? That kind of hooked me into it. And then I got into the Asakoko commercials, which I was like, these are so funny. I'm going to keep watching this. And I think what really got me locked into the VTuber space was, I guess you would say, I don't know if this was because people were saying that this might have been like a a troll donation or something, but it was when someone donated to Kiara and said that, oh, this might be the last stream that I'm gonna be watching you on because I have like stage 5 cancer or something. And just the way she reacted to it, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is for me, you know? Like, not only are they entertainers, but they can be genuinely wholesome as well, you know?
Yeah, especially someone like Kiara, that she genuinely loves her fans, the KFPs. They are to her like special, like they're very special to her. She cares for them.
Yeah. And I guess I just got into like that whole I guess bunch of videos where VTubers were just
someone in chat, the ear of the pizza.
Pepperoni. I like pepperoni.
How I explain? I draw. I take the pepperoni away. I always order the pepperoni and without pepperoni.
Without the pepperoni.
I love that video so much.
I used to watch that video at least once a day just to make me laugh. It was so good.
It's like a brain rot. It's like embedded forever in my brain. The pepperoni.
But yeah, though I feel like if there is okay, so I guess I kind of like I would steal this quote from Coefficient. You know Coefficient, right?
Yeah, I actually met him at Off-Kai.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Oh my god, I've always wanted to talk to him sometime, but man,
yeah, he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, maybe I should reach out. Who knows? You know what?
I just need him to stop. I just need him to stop cosplaying. my favorite Chupas.
Dude, his Mokoko cosplay.
I am Mokoko. He is Moko-chan.
Meno es something fuawa. Something I forgot how it went, but I can't speak Spanish. But that was so funny. It was so funny. But man. So, yeah, what he said was, he asked, it was really funny because he was asking Kayson, like, who would you put in the Mount Rushmore of VTubing? And I do agree with one of Kayson's answers, which is Kiryu Koko. I feel
you have to.
Yeah, if there is a Mount Rushmore for VTubing, Kiryu Koko has to be up there.
She was really the one that bridged the East and the West together.
Yeah.
And really made it viable for Western VTubing.
Yeah, because
I mean, the entirety of HoloLive EN was basically like her brainchild.
Yeah, because didn't Cover kind of like doubt the potential of the EN market until, you know, Coco was like, guys, there's a market here. Because she had the special ability of being bilingual.
Exactly.
Yeah,
she saw the potential.
Yeah. And look how huge Holo EN has become now. It's crazy. And not only that, but also the EN space for VTubing as well. Like, yeah, there were lots of like indies back then and, you know, like other corpos as well, but I really feel like the huge boom really happened when people saw that, you know, being a VTuber over here in the West could be, I would say, profitable, you know?
Well, you could take the lessons that you learned from the Japanese VTuber market and you could apply them to the English-speaking market and it would still work.
Exactly.
So you could take some of the aspects of like the idol stuff and it could still work in the United States and Canada.
Yeah.
And Latin America. I mean, you're seeing them starting to emerge in the Latin American market. I know that Idol opened, you know, the Espanol branch.
Oh yeah, that's true. And Europe as well. I'm surprised that like the Europe scene is just now getting like a big boom in VTubing, you know? Like I would think that like Europe would have like boomed a lot earlier, you know?
Yeah, but it's getting there. I mean, you know, the one off the top of my head that I think of the most is like, you know, Shy Lily.
Yeah, and then you know, Globy popped up and now like I guess like the new generation of Holo EN, it has like more Europeans in it, you know? Like explicitly European. Oh, but yeah, it's I really feel like the work that she has done is just, it's monumental. It's historic even, you know? Like it's historic for the whole VTuber scene.
Well, I mean, that's one of the like messages from Hololive. It's not just it's not just a song, but that's also kind of the message they have. Connect the world. They want to kind of bridge the gap between the flesh world and the virtual world.
Yeah, and not in like that weird janky metaverse shit, but through VTubing.
Yeah, less like the Facebook metaverse way, and more like the Digimon way.
Yeah, exactly. More like Digimon. Oh god, that metaverse stuff was so weird.
It was pretty cringe.
Yeah, it was really like. Did you see that that video of like, oh, you can shop in the metaverse, and there's like this AI assistant that apparently has to greet you every single time you go into the metaverse marketplace, and she even does this thing where it's like you put a gallon of milk, like a jug of milk into your thing. Oh, it seems like your smart fridge already has a jug of milk. Would you like to return this one? And it's like, dude, none of your business. Just let me have my milk.
I have no foot, but I want to kick the robot.
Exactly. Oh my god, it's like, oh my god, what is this, rationing? Dude, maybe I'm just about to run out of milk. I just wanna, maybe it's on sale, like none of your business, robot. Oh man.
Oh no, I posted a tweet on X. Now my smart fridge is turned off.
Oh my god.
I have to go to class. I have to go to a class so that I can learn to be a better person on the internet, and then my fridge will work again.
I've heard of so many stories about that. Apparently there was a guy, right? Apparently there was a guy that had his entire smart home locked away from him because I think like Amazon thought that he said a slur or something.
Yes. So someone was delivering to his house, and he has an Amazon smart home. And the person that was delivering, like, he had a greeting on his door or whatever, and the guy that was delivering it thought that it said like a slur, so he reported him to Amazon and got like his entire smart home shut down over that.
That's terrifying. That's legitimately terrifying.
And that's kind of the scary aspect of like the digital world and the real world mixing together, is that, like, imagine you have like a smart toaster and like somebody doesn't like your perspective on something, like you like, let's not even go into like political, let's just say like anime, like you like this one anime but they don't like this anime, and they're just like, oh, that anime is cringe, I'm gonna report you.
Oh my god.
And they get your toaster, you get banned from toaster.
You're trying to like microwave a hot pocket. It seems like you have watched Made in Abyss. You have been locked out of your microwave.
You have posted cringe on Twitter. You have posted cringe on Twitter, and people didn't like that. You are now banned from microwaving for 2 weeks.
It seems like you have posted a meme about Blue Archive.
Oh no. Twitter has said that you have posted cringe.
You are now unable to flush your toilet until you have deleted that post. God, imagine.
But that's the scary aspect of it, is that you're welcoming in all this new technology that operates with an internet connection, and I mean, we're not even talking about like the hackers, just like the people that run these companies. They're so risk averse and so scared of like going against convention and what like masses of people say.
Yeah.
So they fold very easily because they think that this tiny minority of people that are very, very loud and boisterous, that abuse all of these reporting features, they listen to them rather than the mass of people who just are like, don't care.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think it's mostly because of advertisers, let's be real.
Yeah, I think that's probably the X factor, is that they're so scared. And like the Twitter thing, right? Like Twitter was suing this like huge conglomerate of advertisers, and they just immediately shuttered the entire thing.
That's crazy to me. That's so crazy.
Because they were actually working in concert with each other to like take down Twitter, because Twitter wouldn't like censor things that they wanted censored, and so they abused their authority and their power over this one market to like try to destroy the company.
Yeah. Okay, so my perspective on that is this, right? If you let someone say stupid shit, that lets you point out that this person is saying something stupid, Because if you start to go, okay, like, of course, this is going to have some caveats where, like, yeah, if you're calling for violence for someone, then obviously that's not cool. But if it's just like a really stupid opinion, if you suddenly like censor that stupid opinion, they'll feel like, oh my god, they censored my stupid opinion. That must mean that they don't want other people listening to it. That must mean I have the truth, you know? I feel like it just empowers them, you know?
Well, it does. And this is something I've said for a long time, is that by silencing someone, you're not proving that they're wrong. You're just merely saying that you just don't want to hear what they have to say.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like there's a huge lack in the capability of people to have a conversation nowadays. Which is why podcasts like this are so nice, because hell, maybe one day I'll bring someone in who ends up not having the same opinion as me, and there's an argument that's to be made, and who knows, maybe in the end we'll agree to disagree, or we'll come out with new perspectives, you know? Like, that's the wonder of conversation. We're social creatures, you know?
Well, that was the beauty of the old internet, is that it was literally just like, you opened the hose and it was just spraying water everywhere. Like,
yeah,
you had these unfiltered communications between people where they could convey their viewpoints without like some, nanny state coming in and saying, oh, well, you can't say that.
Yeah.
And granted, you're going to hear and see a lot of stuff that you might be like offended by. But that was the beauty of it, is that if you didn't like something, you just didn't interact with that person or didn't interact with that website. If some, websites like Something Awful or 4chan were like not your thing, you just didn't have to go to them.
Exactly. Like, there's always a choice to press that big X button at the top right of your screen.
Walk away from the screen, close your laptop.
Yeah. And honestly, I know that, there are some other nuanced cases, but I feel like there's a big lack of the willingness for people to just press the mute button, right?
Yeah, like I used to be somebody that I was like, no, I don't want to block people, like even if they're like bad actors or whatever, because I don't want to give them the win or whatever. But honestly, like, these tools exist for a reason, because there's just some people like, the type where they have like the default avatar and like first name bunch of numbers, and they're just like they're not going to contribute anything meaningful to the conversation.
They're just there to agitate.
Yeah. Like, you should always just block those people, just because what they do is they'll flood the field and just like reply to like every post you make with like some inane stuff. Like, you shouldn't give any oxygen to those people.
Yeah. And okay, so I feel like it applies a lot to video games as well. Like, hell, I play League of Legends, God help my soul. And, and you know what? I've playing League of Legends for more than 10 years, I've ran into a lot of toxicity. And guess what? If you mute that guy, report that guy, you're not gonna have to think of that guy ever again in your entire years of playing League of Legends, You
see, I've always just believed that, like, if there's somebody that like aggravates the crap out of you in like a game, you just mute them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
And
mute
then your
block
gaming
'em.
experience will be 100 times easier. Like, yeah, they might do some silly stuff in game. Yeah, you might lose the game, but after that game, just out of sight, out of mind. Move on to the next.
Yeah, and you have to be like the kind of person that you can't take things like you can't take things personally, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just a dumb game. Like, I was a little bit more of a rage gamer back in the day, especially when it came to Trials of Osiris and Destiny 1. I would get so heated because the dude would get like, you'd pop your super and you'd be like, yeah, and then the dude popped his super and then he'd teabag you and you're just like, like, I hate you. Yeah. But I mellowed out over time because I realized that it don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And back then I was like a lot more competitive, right? To the point that I actually
So was I.
I actually kind of I guess I was a bit of a sucky friend to play with back then, just because I was so competitive. I kept going like, why didn't you do this? You should have done this. No, like trying to backseat my friends when they were just trying to have fun. They're like, dude, it's not a ranked game. Just calm down. and then I would kind of like fume about it after a while, and then it would take me a while to apologize because I would think I was into the right. But ever since I started not giving a shit about the game and just playing it for fun, I've had a lot more fun, you know?
Yeah, I eventually had a moment, like I was playing Iron Banner. Iron Banner has been like out of like every, like, when Destiny 1 they launched its Taken King expansion, they had this like video where it like talked about your accomplishments in like the first year of Destiny 1.
Oh.
And something stuck with me, and I'll always laugh about this, is that it was like I was in the top 1% of all players in Destiny 1 and most kills in Iron Banner.
Damn.
Because I no-lifed that mode when it was Iron Banner week. I was playing Iron Banner. I am the original Iron Lord. But that game mode made me so mad because out of like the regular Crucible mode, it was the only one where like your gear level and your power actually mattered. So I would like grind like a madman to be max level so that I could like dunk on everybody in Iron Banner, and I would get so mad when my teammates would do like the dumbest stuff, or when I was up against somebody that was deliberately like lagging and lag switching and stuff. I would get so mad. Yeah. And then I'm just like, I realized I was like, yeah, this is a dumb game. None of this really matters. I'm not actually accomplishing anything.
Yeah, that's bragging rights though, man. That's cool. That's an achievement. Like just being rank 1 in like any kind of game, you know. And I mean, Destiny is kind of mainstream, you know. So you can brag to someone about it.
It used to be for good reasons, and now not for so much, not so many good reasons.
Yeah, for not so good reasons, man. All of
and
the
now I'm looking for a new home.
Yeah,
regrettably.
Yeah, I mean, I do relate to that thing you said, where it's like, yeah, it's you gotta understand that accomplishing that thing in this video game, I don't know, it might not do really too much to improve your life, because back then I was one of the top PvP people in this game called Blade and Soul, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so good at this game. And then now that I look back at it, I'm like, you know what, it was freaking Blade and Soul. Not a lot of people were playing it. It was actually kind of a niche MMO, you know. Man, just thinking about that kind of stuff, I feel like, I don't know, there's kind of like this point in gaming where I guess, I don't know if I want to say it, like you start to mature, but you start to mature, you know? Like you start to see it as more, I should just play this for enjoyment's sake, you know?
Right, not be so hyper competitive, like worrying about what the meta is and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Because maybe back then I did want to be good enough in League that I might play competitively, but I just thought of like the whole logistics of that, about playing this game every single day, making sure every play is perfect, and just the stress of that, and I'm like, no. Fuck that. I'd rather be a bronzy than than live my life like that. I'd rather be a noob and have fun, you know?
Yeah, because that's ultimately what it's about. I think, and I think it falls into like because the problem that happened with the Destiny game is that a lot of creators, like, that became like their game. They made content exclusively for it. They talked endlessly about it, but they wanted to change the game to cater more to their play style, to their style, you know, the content they wanted to create. And it was for a net negative to the rest of the player base. I mean, you know, I won't name names, but like there's a storied history of like, you know, the creator class versus like the regular player, and there's a lot of resentment there, you know, because the company, you know, they look towards these large creators that brought a lot of attention to the game, and they, you know, they'd invite them out to these like player summits, and they'd talk to them, so they'd get direct feedback on like changes they wanted to make to the game. Yeah, and the changes were oftentimes like not positive experiences for the rest of the player base.
I mean, I don't know what if it's still happening now, but there was a point in time, in recent time actually, where everyone just wanted to make the next esport, the next big esport. And I feel like that kind of...
The Overwatch paradox, yes.
Exactly. where they're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the Dota killer, or the League of Legends killer, or the Overwatch killer, and it's like,
we have to change our entire the entire makeup of this game to try to make it into like a competitive game.
Competitive esport, which, you know, probably appeals to the let's be generous and say like 10% of the overall player population. What happens to the rest of the 90% of casuals? You know, that's how a game dies, I feel.
Right, that's what happened to Overwatch. Is that they made all of these changes that just made the game not fun. It's like, yeah, okay, you evened the playing field, but the whole purpose of Overwatch is that all of these characters play differently. They have different strengths and weaknesses, and if you pick the wrong one, you are actively like a detriment to your team if there's somebody on the other team that's just like has a better character. But also, like, all the different characters have different skill ceilings, skill floors. They bring something different to the table, and they tried to like level this out across the game, and it doesn't work that way. Overwatch is just not really a game that you can play competitively because there's always going to be advantages and disadvantages, and people are always going to be upset about it. It's not like Call of Duty where everybody's character is basically on the ground floor and everything is exactly the same. The only difference is in what you choose.
Yeah. See, Uriko actually has a nice point there. Like the FGC, oh my god, they've been going forever.
Oh god, I could go on for days about the FGC.
Oh yeah.
Because they're kind of in that same boat where they each have their own play style. And because they are who they are, and a lot of them are like really big creators, they have an outsized ability to convince some of these companies to change the game to more suit their particular play style. Yeah. And some companies like SNK just ignore them. Like SNK just doesn't care.
Wacky, silly game, you know?
Yeah, like Terry's gonna play like Terry, Maya's gonna play like Mai. Like that is how it's gonna go. But then you have companies like Capcom that will bend over backwards for the creator class and make all these changes, and it's not always for the positive.
Yeah. Oh my god, remember what happened, that whole thing with Marvel Infinite? Where it's like, we don't have Magneto in this new Marvel vs. Capcom because he plays almost exactly the same as this other character. And characters are just functions, guys. They're just functions. And it's like, no! People want Magneto in there because he's Magneto. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want the characters they want in there, and they don't care how they play.
Yeah, like I feel like that's such a bleak kind of like way to look at game development, is just, you know, not putting, because imagine if something, for example, let's get out of the FGC, imagine if something like Devil May Cry or something, if Dante had no personality and he was just a bunch of, oh, people just love Dante for his gameplay, let's replace him with this other person that plays exactly the same. You're still playing Dante-ish, guys. It's like, no, the whole personality of the character is what draws people to them, you know? Man.
Yeah, it's not just the fun. It's not, you know, people like Dante, people like Virgil, and not just for the funny memes, but a lot of the reason because of the funny memes.
Yeah.
I am the storm that is approaching.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, so about that, right? Like, do you know about the whole Toho community?
Yes, I love Toho.
Okay, good. So you basically know that a lot of the quote-unquote canon in Toho is actually just 10% of the original canon. A lot of it is just,
and most of it's been made up by fans.
Yeah, a lot of it is just fan stuff, memes, all of that, you know? Man, Toho is a huge example about basically like a franchise that's been built by the fans pretty much. And they go hard, they go crazy. Like if you look at Toho Fanworks, it's crazy. They make entire animes just by themselves, you know?
I saw a tweet from McDonald's Japan where they referenced the old Iosys Flash animation, Marisa Stole the Precious Thing. I was like, oh my god.
Dude, I had flashbacks when I saw that. I was like, what the hell? What? This is relevant again? Hell yeah. Oh, I love that. Man, yeah, new generation of Toho. Let's go.
Yeah, people are discovering all of these old posts and memes, and they're falling in love with Toho just like we did. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I like when it happens, right? Like, for example, like a good recent example of that was Metal Gear Rising, because of Maxor.
Yes.
You know? Bro, back
Why don't
then,
you back that up with a source? My source is I made it up.
Yeah, dude, Maxor, I feel like breathed new life into Metal Gear Rising. Because when Maxor made it, was it like a 10-year-old game or something already? Like,
Something
it was
like
released,
that.
Yeah, it was released like 2013, I think. And then like Maxor made that those 2 videos, and then people are like, oh my god, look at this funny meme game, Metal Gear Rising. And then everyone started talking about and playing Metal Gear Rising. It was so weird because I heard people referencing it, and I was like, wait, that's from Metal Gear Rising. It's like, oh, you played Metal Gear Rising? When? It's like, oh, I just played it like last week or last month. And I was like, what?
And there's nothing more American than shooting a man in this Walmart of a world.
You gotta work on your fitness stick in your mouth.
Well, if it isn't Sussy Jack.
Typical politician.
I was wrong about you, Senator.
All cock.
I was wrong about you, Senator.
No cock.
You're not cringe.
Oh, I love that so much.
It's so great.
It's so good. But yeah, I love it whenever that happens, where like there's a rediscovery of something old, you know? And then people just start to fall in love with it again. I love that. I love that so much.
Well, it's funny we bring up Metal Gear because this is actually how I found my Oshi.
Really?
Yes, actually. I was a big fan of what are we calling her now? Nondescript elf?
Yeah, nondescript elf.
Yeah.
I was also a big fan of nondescript elf. Yeah.
And I ended up discovering her and the rest of Niji Sanji through her Metal Gear gameplay because I have always been a huge Metal Gear fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I actually discovered her from when she played Metal Gear Rising, because that one clip of when she was like, Doctor, turn off my nondescript elf inhibitors. And I'm like, and I was like, wow, this is funny. I gotta watch her entire Metal Gear Rising gameplay, and that's kind of how I discovered her. And then I discovered her her chant for their song, you know, like that whole chant that she made for the song.
Yes. Yes, the Wotage.
So much. Yeah, the Wotage, yeah. And then I started seeing fans
Jinzo,
doing
fire,
it.
fire, wiper, tiger, tiger. Yes.
Yeah, I love that so much. Oh my god. Yeah, we love nondescript elf, guys. We love nondescript elf in this household. Oh man. I think I'm actually gonna steal that from you. I'm gonna start calling her that when I reference her on my streams.
Yeah, nondescript. I love those memes.
Mm-hmm.
The nondescript elf Dachi go hard.
Yeah. Oh my god, I've never heard that before, but that's amazing. Oh.
That's okay. Their spirit has been inherited.
Yeah.
She passed off the spirit. She passed off the spirit of nondescript elf to the next generation.
Exactly.
Like Snake handed off to Raiden.
Yeah, and might have turned into a nondescript spirit, right?
right. Who coincidentally is now my Oshi.
Yeah. Oh my god, what a coincidence, huh? Oh my god.
I know. Yeah, she is my new Kami Oshi.
Yeah, that's crazy actually. Man, who would have thought? Yeah, this new spirit, nondescript spirit, rose up from way back then, and you're like, wow, this is pretty cool.
She also likes Metal Gear, and that's why.
She also likes Metal Gear. That's so.
And she owns a Metal Gear Pachi slot machine, and I'm like, I'm sold.
Yeah, man, that's so weird. That's so weird that she has so many.
I'm the man who sold the world.
Oh my god. But yeah. So, speaking of agencies though, oh man, what a segue, you know? Like, I know you have some, you told me that you have some questions about NEXAS as well?
Yeah, so without saying anything in particular, because I know you guys have like lots of agreements, like how did you discover NEXAS in the first place?
Okay, so, this is a bit of a funny story, right? back then, I tried out this app called Reality, right? Because before that, I was a VTuber in another PL, more of a V singer really, but you know, in another reincarnated life. I
Right.
tried out this app called Reality, and I was holding karaoke streams there, you know, because it was fun, and I had this like funny setup that I kind of finangled. It was a really janky setup, but it allowed me to stream music there and use my studio mic, which gave me better mic quality than a lot of people over there. But what happened was that there was this guy that came up to my chat, and it seems like he was actually scouting the person who I was collabing with.
Ah, in the right place at the right time sort of deal.
And he was hearing me sing, and he was like, because I think I had a title there that had party in it, and so he started calling me Party Boy. He was like, "Okay, Party Boy." He's like, "Okay, Party Boy, I'm a keep an eye on you. I'm gonna keep in touch." And then he messaged me about NEXAS, and and I was like, oh, "Okay, that's pretty cool," and I kind of felt bad because because then my friend who was the original one being scouted started saying, "Man, maybe you deserve this more than me. Maybe I should back out." And I'm like, "No, never back out. You should keep on going with wanting to join this company if you want to, you know." And I guess I got an interview, and they asked me about you know what I can put to the table, what my interests are, and I guess sharing the vision of the company with me. And I kind of vibed with the whole, yeah, this is gonna be kind of like a launch pad, like academy style sort of thing. And I was like, oh, that seems pretty fun. And yeah, the rest was history. Now I'm here.
Now you're here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a party boy. Yeah.
I like that. That that's gonna be a thing from now on. You know that, right? You're party boy now.
I'm party boy now. Yeah. I'm not Clotho anymore. I'm Clotho Party Boy Melodium. That's what the V stands for. The V stands for party boy. The V
party
silent. Boy. Oh my god. But yeah. That's how I got into NEXAS. Yeah. I think I'm allowed to talk about that, right?
I think so. Well, it's too late now, but
it's too late now. I've already said it. You know, I didn't say any names. So
our NEXAS party boy, right?
Yeah. But yeah. So
did you manage to get one of the deck of cards? Because when I went to Offkai, I went to the NEXAS table. I immediately got a deck of cards. I was like, heck yeah, I'm getting one of these.
Oh my god, I want one. Because I think the big logistic issue is shipping it out to all of the talents, because, you know, all of us live in different parts of the world.
I was going to say, you guys are everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be hard for them to just ship them out individually, and I would say very expensive as well, you know, considering they operate over in Asia, you know. And
that is very true.
Yeah. So I feel like it would be, as much as I would love it, you know, maybe when there's like a merch store that opens and there's that deck of cards, I would love to get one. You know, I would love to get one.
Yeah. If NEXAS comes back to Offkai next year, maybe I can try to cop one.
Oh my god.
Send it to you.
I would try to go if they go back to Offkai next year. I would try to be there. Because apparently there was one of us who actually went there and was signing the cards.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So if you manage to get a signed card of a NEXAS member, I guess that's like that's like a unique one, I guess.
Yeah, that one's gonna be very special.
Yeah, that was gonna be very special, especially, you know, if that one person who signed it ends up popping off, you know.
Well, see, the cool thing about Offkai next year is that, you know, of course, you know, you guys were just starting up last year, so they didn't have a lot of the technology set up. But I guess next year the cool thing will be that you guys can actually do like meet and greets and stuff. That's
true. Yeah, and I did manage to experience my first meet and greet over at Bell County Comic-Con. That was really fun.
Yeah. The Sox agency had the meet and greet there. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I'm really grateful for Flork for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah,
It was
Flork is a
so
cool
fun.
dude.
Yeah, he's actually so cool. He even okay. So this is a funny story from a few days ago, right? So I went to Camizol's stream, and it looks like they're playing League of Legends, and they saw me in chat, and Cami told me, "Hey Clotha, what are you doing right now?" And I'm like, I just got back from work, but I'm free. And I just got dragged into a socks agency League of Legends game. It was so funny.
They were struggling mightily.
Yeah. It was a struggle, but the entire time I was, keeping cool, keeping funny. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
It's
fun.
what I like to call a beautiful disaster.
Yeah.
Everything is going wrong, but it's just so entertaining. You just can't look away.
It's a train wreck that you couldn't keep your eyes away from, Oh my god. Speaking of that, did you hear about the one guy who apparently crashed a train in order to get a viral video?
I did hear about that. Yeah, that kid who tried to knock the train off the track and had his whole thing set up.
That's crazy. It's crazy. What are people doing now for clout? It's so scary.
Well, I mean, it's getting worse too because people are always trying to look for that next viral video. So there's people that will just run up and hit people and put it on film. It's crazy.
Oh, that's actually something that I keep hearing about. Apparently some people will agitate the hell out of people until they get pissed off. Then they whip out the phone and go, "Oh, why are you attacking me, bro? Why are you attacking me, bro?" It's man.
People do crazy stuff now for internet clout. It's insane.
It's honestly crazy. Yeah, it's honestly crazy. Man,
I think the lockdowns just drove people insane. That's what I think it is.
I feel like it just reduced everyone's sanity and just everyone's crazy ended up coming out after lockdown. Because I feel like pre-lockdown and post-lockdown feel like two different worlds.
Yeah,
it's like through a dimensional door.
Yeah, it's like 2001, right? Everybody remembers before and after. It's a new epic.
Yeah. It's crazy how much things have changed. Oh my god, I sound like a boomer. I remember back then.
I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world.
Oh, no. Oh, anyway, speaking of, I heard that you've been interested in pursuing a singing career.
Yes, actually. I was talking to him before the stream that there was an agency I applied for, and one of the things I did in my my application was I sang the Snake Eater theme.
Oh, bass. Oh man, that's a good song choice. But yeah, it's really fascinating because again, I told you even before the stream, I didn't really make you out to be a singer. That's unexpected.
Yeah, when I was on the podcast that I talked about, there were 2 episodes of karaoke, and it kind of blew people's minds a little bit. They're like, "Wow, I didn't know Gator could sing. This was something new." I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh my god!
Well, you already heard me do all the character voices.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, it tracks that I would sing a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of those skills actually translate well into singing. Yeah, and you did say before the stream that you were interested in taking singing lessons too.
Yeah, because most of mine is just self-trained. I was in chorus when I was in 5th grade, because I was the last, and this is kind of an embarrassing story, but I was the last boy in my class whose voice changed.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, my voice didn't actually change until I was in 7th grade. It was the end of 6th, start of 7th grade. So I was the one awkward boy that was still stuck having to sing soprano.
Oh.
And it was it's what made me fall out of chorus because it was so embarrassing.
I mean, hey, now it's a brand new chance to, I guess, delve into the Gator idol arc.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I've noticed that's kind of an untapped reservoir is that you don't see a lot of male VTuber idols. It seems to be male VTubers have 3 paths. One is the boyfriend ASMR thing, and that just I think that's a little crazy. That's a little weird.
Mhm.
Like, I'm sorry if people, your favorite VTuber is a boyfriend or girlfriend experience.
Yeah.
Like VTuber. I just, it's not my thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
The other path is that you're like a jokester. Like that's actually my favorite. Like all the goofy Hollow Stars guys, they're great.
I think they call them bro tubers, right?
Yes, bro tubers. Like that's the path. And then the third path is like the femboys. That's the other path. So
I know a few.
yeah, so bro tuber, it's really the only viable option, but there's not really a lot of like the ones that they actually sing, they perform on stage and do cool stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of those.
Yeah. And it's really funny because I remember I forgot who it was in Hololive that like did a 3D concert and his voice blew my mind. Oh my god, I forgot who it was. I think I was watching it with like I was watching it with another VTuber, but man, which one is Claw though? I'm trying to be a singer VTuber. Actually, you can't just talk about BroTubers without mentioning me, your best friend Gator. real man. But yeah, actually, I'm trying to lean more into my music VTuber kind of wish, I call it a wish right now because right now it seems more like I'm like a comfy VTuber, maybe mild BFE to some, but so I'm trying to do this new thing, right? Where I take songs that people think are really hard or even impossible to learn and try learning it myself and give myself a 1 month time limit to do it.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Like a 1 month challenge to learn to sing this song.
Yeah, and I kind of got inspired by those okay. So what really inspired me was this video of this guy making like an entire motorhome out of a school bus. And like
that's kind of dope.
Yeah, exactly. Like that whole format where he was like, recording all of the struggles, all of the progress, what kind of hardships he went through with it. And like it has this whole inspirational kind of thing to it. And I kind of want to take the angle of like, well, if someone like me who's like relatively an amateur when it comes to singing can try this out, maybe you should try it out too, kind of thing, That's something that I wanna I kind of want to start making,
Yeah, that seems pretty fun too.
I feel like it would.
And
be
then you can be like the male VTuber idol, and you can like have a 3D concert. And
stuff. Because I feel like I really found my niche with that one, especially if that one pops off,
Yeah, and I think there's like a market that's just like waiting to be tapped there.
Yeah, filled up by the Gator gamer, right?
Well, I don't know if I would necessarily do it under this moniker. But, but it's something I've considered.
Are we perhaps going to see Ikemen Gator Boy singing on stage?
maybe someday. But I don't know if it'll be as I am currently. Maybe.
Oh, Volt said, I was genuinely surprised you were great at singing Duality. Oh yeah, Duality by Slipknot. Because my metal voice is so different from normal speak. Yeah, Rima actually told me too. And Rima was like, oh wow, Clotho, your singing voice is so different from your speaking voice. And I'm like, yeah. It's very different. Especially now that I've gone through my vocal training. I'm still going through it, I'm still taking lessons, but I feel like I've greatly improved from where I've started. Yeah. The weapon to surpass Vox Akuma Gator. Oh my god. I actually can't
My
wait.
Tenga will pierce the heavens.
Yeah. Hey, if I'm I can be like one of the minor acts in your first concert if you would like. Hey, I'd go on to the Gator concert. Oh man.
Gator 3D Live opening for for Hollow Live.
Exactly. Yo, oh my god, the new Hollow Stars member seems to be an alligator boy. Yo.
Man, this new Hollow Stars member sounds really familiar.
Yeah, sounds really familiar, and it seems like he likes talking about anime as well. And he's like a gator boy, and I don't know.
He really likes Steins Gate for some reason.
He really likes Steins Gate. Yeah, he keeps on referencing it for some reason. In fact, he's wearing a lab coat. Oh my god, have you considered that, by the way, for your I guess like let's call it the official 1.0 design?
Yeah, I've thrown around a couple of ideas in my head because I do actually want to get a live 2D at some point.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of different designs, ideas that I can flip through. I mean, obviously, there's the JoJo inspired, Jotaro Kujo. I mean, because that's just been my look, ever since I've been Gators. Is I've always had the the JoJo hat, the big jacket. So my live 2D will be a little less copyright infringy, but still have like some of the same elements.
Okay. Gator does the concert, but it's just a specific model bobbing up and down.
So it's just bobbing up and down, yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be like your small Ame, This is gonna be your small Ame.
just butt stomping my way across
exactly
across the theater, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's so exciting. Do you have like an ETA for when it's gonna happen, or is it kind of just in the air for now?
It's kind of just in the air because the first thing, it's a multi-step process. So the first thing is, of course, I have to get a reference sheet. So I have to like pick design elements that I want in the model and like come to a consensus on like, okay, this is how the hat should look. Okay, this is how the jacket should look. This is the pants, the shoes, everything. And so then I get an artist to come up with a reference sheet that then they can send to the rigger that will actually like design the model and put the model together.
Yeah.
So it's a multi-step process. So you have to have money to do all of those steps.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's the one thing, right? Like models cost so much money. Yeah.
And also like what ultimately what kind of design do I want at the end of the day?
Yeah, because you're gonna be stuck with that for a while.
Right. So do I want to be like a full-on like regular size VTuber? Do I want? Because like what I have now is it's called VTuber Kit. It's made it's made by a guy Cupin, and he has this whole free tool that you can just like customize your VTuber like how you want to, and you can add little attachments and stuff. That's what I use. It's kind of like a chibi-esque sort of model.
Okay.
So it's like, do I want like a chibi model? Do I want like a full-size model? Do I want maybe like midway so it's still like, gremlin-esque? Because I've always kind of been a little bit of a gremlin. So I feel like, maybe that's something I could lean into.
Lean into that, yeah. Yeah, I guess the next decision is, are you still gonna be a JoJo reference?
Right, yeah, do I want to keep, because I kind of feel like I want to keep the JoJo elements, but also at the same time, like maybe have some alternate costumes and things, like, the giant lab coat for Steins Gate.
Yeah, just reference all, because that would be very on brand as well, Like if you have a bunch of anime references on your costume, that would be super on brand for you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh my god. So yeah, everyone please, stay tuned for Gator's 1.0. That would be awesome.
Yeah, why not have a model with a stand? Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
I'd have to have like a little. And that's another thing too, is coming up with like, the mascot character.
Yeah, that's
and
your
the
stand.
Mascot character could be the stand.
Yeah.
And so the audience is my stand.
Yeah, that's genius, actually. That's genius. Write that down.
Yeah. The audience is my stand, so I can just like summon them. And I think I'm going in full, because there's a fan term for all of the JoJo like the side characters that are
the Joe Bros.
The Joe Bros, yeah. So I was thinking of for like my fans, for my audience, was like copying that partly, but instead of it being the Joe Bros, they're the Bro Stars.
The Bro Stars! Yo, I like that! That's a good name.
And that way you could call them the Bro Stars and the Sis Stars.
the Gator Sisters, you would say.
The Bro Stars and Sis Stars, yeah. And they're just like giant. They're just giant like star people with,
exactly.
with little faces on them.
Exactly. Man. But yeah. So before we start like wrapping everything up, Gator, do you have any like other questions about like me or Nexus or anything that you would like to know?
Oh yeah. When are you guys gonna do like a massive like Minecraft tournament?
Ooh, let me just say that's in the works. We're slowly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. See, because I think I've always thought that about NEXAS is that like the next phase is to like have these huge, massive collabs.
Utilize the numbers, you know.
Yeah, because you guys have a ton of people, and it could be very entertaining to have these like silly tournaments every so often.
Let me tell you, this one kohai I have, Rosalie, she's been hard at work planning a lot of stuff. It's actually admirable. Like I see her constantly posting ideas in our server. We have like a specific Minecraft section in our server, and she has been posting a lot of ideas, trying to organize events, you know, organize.
Yeah,
collabs.
I've seen a lot of streams from Lulu of the server you guys are building.
Oh yeah. She built like this really cool farm in there. Meanwhile, I'm underground being a gremlin.
I feel the gremlin life. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Nexus tournament arc. I feel like we're also planning like Mario Kart, you know, other games as well. Yeah. And there's actually this one. Okay, let me just pitch you the idea, right? And I still don't know how to go about doing this because, you know, we still gotta stay. We gotta avoid the situation where it seems like we're judging people too much, you know?
Right. It's all friendly stuff.
Yeah. So I want to make, and the angle was kind of like inspired by my manager. Like an American Idol parody kind of thing, but for Nexus. You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a secret singing collab stream.
Yeah, pretty much. Where it's like, you know, we let people come up, we let them sing on stage, and then we have our own Simon Cowell who always makes snarky remarks about them. you know, it's like this whole big parody thing that's really not to be meant to be taken seriously.
That was absolutely dreadful.
Exactly. It's not supposed to be meant to be taken completely seriously, but it's still some good way to showcase the singers in Nexus, you know?
Yeah, and then the fans get to vote for their favorites in each round and stuff like that. Yeah, that would actually be pretty fun.
Yeah, it would be pretty fun. It's just
that would be a fun collab idea, just in general. You know, to have like a pseudo, you know, VTuber idol or whatever.
Yeah. Has it been done before? Like, have they done that before?
I feel like something like that has been done.
Yeah, because you would think, right? You would think there's so many people who sing in the VTuber space. It has to have been done before. But the fact that nothing comes into mind immediately is a good sign for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm like going through the singing idol VTubers in my head and trying to think. It's like, has there been an American Idol?
There's
like
been
maybe Nyaru might have done one.
Competitions, you know, not a lot of competitions, just a lot of concerts, really. That would be fun.
To think.
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun, like a little like a pseudo competition.
Yeah, because competition makes good content. Am I right?
Yes, it does. I mean, that's why a Jackbox Party Pack is always a great stream idea. I mean, that's where I came up with the. I was on Junie Smoothies, her stream, and we it was, I can't even remember the prompt, but I came up with, it was like, you know, a product that like helps you, like you can't stop farting when you go to sleep, and it wakes you up. So I was like, oh, the gamers. Oh no, it was you every time you fart, you fell asleep or something, and it was like, oh yeah, the gamer suppository.
The gamer suppository. Write that down, gamer subs. A direct injection into the bloodstream. Through the butt.
That's a suppository. And I did it in the Billy Mays voice and everything.
Oh my
God.
a lot.
It was really funny.
I want to play that with my Nexus members. It's such a fun game.
It's I saw FaZe playing a game like that, and boy, they they got a little wild with it. The FaZe girls got a little crazy with it. It was so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely a good idea. I'll make sure to keep developing that idea because throughout the next month I'm gonna be so busy with a lot of stuff. Like, for example, there's this new song that Canaria just released with Suisei. I'm learning that already. I'm making a cover for that already. I'm already working on it just because I'm like, wait a second, new Suisei song, and it's a duet, and I got like the person who designed my my mascot. She's also a really good singer, so I approached her and we're doing a duet of that. So yeah, look out for that, guys. Look out for that.
Very, very nice. Very nice. You're gonna do a little bibbidi bobbidi boa.
Man, I wish. I haven't actually learned that song yet, surprisingly enough.
It's very complicated.
I know,
actually.
That's the thing. Yeah. There's even like a skibbity version of it, and I hate it. I'll see if I can send it to you after the stream. But yeah, so yeah, before we wrap things up, do you have anything to say to the chat? Like anything that you're up to, anything that to look forward to when it comes to your stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing an Anime Boomers on Friday. We're working on booking the guest for this one. I have somebody in mind that I'm going to reach out to. I was actually going to reach out to them today, see if they can come on. But it should be a fun one. We usually do the podcast every other week.
Okay.
We try to do it on either Friday or Saturday with Cody and at least one other guest, sometimes two.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it on Friday sometime in the afternoon. And that'll be on youtube.com/animeboomers.
There you go, guys. Please follow Anime Boomers on YouTube, subscribe, and watch out for the next stream. And by the way, guys,
I'm gonna try to do some gaming stream coming up, but like I said, I've been so tired from work that I haven't had the motivation to do it. So
yeah,
but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start streaming more on my regular channel.
Yeah. So as for me though, thank you for coming, Gator. I hope you had fun.
I did. It was a lot of fun. I'd love to come back sometime.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Feel free to reach out for me for any collabs, man. Like if you want to do a collab someday, yeah, just send me a message.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe we'll even do like a duo karaoke stream sometime. Who knows?
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. But yeah, as for me, next week, stay tuned for next week's Sunday Afternoon Tea Time. I will be posting the schedule for next week on Monday, well, tomorrow. And we will be having Komiyama Ambrose from Globee over for tea time.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. Which is funny because we were talking about the femboy route, and there you go.
Like I said, there's three routes. There's 3 routes to take as a male VTuber.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I am 5 followers away from Twitter from releasing my first voice pack for free.
Oh, there you go, chat.
Yeah, there you go, chat. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, I'm 5 away from releasing a free voice pack, which, by the way, is ready to upload right now. I just got the album art from my good friend Squee, and it looks amazing. So yeah, look forward to that. And yeah, I'm really glad that you were able to come by, Gator. I've been looking forward to talking to you so much ever since ever since I saw you. I mean, I'm gonna share a secret. I saw you first in with Legal Mindset.
Well, that's when a lot of people in the VTuber sphere were introduced to me, because I was a part of this like whole other thing beforehand, and I was part of the what was it called, Weeb Wars or whatever.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
And yeah, that was the first time I saw you, and especially once you talked about do the wait and see approach with NEXAS. A lot of this battle royale stuff is probably overblown kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, yeah, Gator's pretty cool. Because
I've always tried to be very even keel when it comes to these sorts of things, because like people are hesitant when something new comes along that they're not used to, and it was a lot of hesitation with FaZe when FaZe first showed up, because people were like, I don't know about this, but I saw Pippa and I'm like, oh yeah, Pippa's great.
Because trust
Like you
me,
guys, I was a big Pippa fan, trying to convince as many people as possible to watch Pippa.
Yeah, because trust me, hearing you kind of, kind of defend us from those people who are making a lot of these really wild theories about Nexus, it helped a lot, especially because I was the first one who debuted pretty much, and I knew all of those eyes were gonna be on me, and oh my god, I was actually so nervous. I think I threw up before my debut.
That was a lot of pressure. I understand.
Yeah, and you could definitely hear the nervousness in my voice because I was just worried about what comments were gonna appear. But yeah, it really helped, and I'm really glad I finally got to talk to you and, hopefully get to collab with you again in the future.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that I could do just a little bit to make things a little better for you guys, to give you guys at least a fighting chance,
Oh yeah, for sure, It's another story for next time live. But yeah, anyways, I'm glad that you had fun, and thank you for coming, Gator.
Absolutely. Until next time.
Yeah, so we have this little I guess tradition here where we just say goodbye to everyone, and how we say goodbye is saying otsuklo,
Otsuklo.
Otsuklo, yeah. So I'm gonna count it down after our outros, and let's do that little tradition together, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Right, so thank you for coming to Sunday Afternoon Tea Time, everyone. This has been the Gator Gamer and Clotho V Melodium, the musical Prince of Darkness of Nexus Class Genesis. I'll see you guys next time in 3, 2, 1. Otsuklo!
Otsuklo!
Everyone, bye-bye! Man, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, let's see who we can raid. Yeah. I bet they were surprised about the whole singing thing.